Welcome back to Iron Infidel, everybody, and today we're going to go deeper into the best duty rifle with this monster right here, the Homebrew. All right, so I thought I would toss this monster in the run-in for best duty rifle, one that you built at home. And I know somebody's already overheating in the comments by the way this thing is rigged up and everything that's on it. And to that person, I would say, make sure you get over to ironinfidel.com and get you a battle bottle so you can drink water and cool off. Also, check out the fitness gear, the swag, the EDC stuff, all that over at ironinfidel.com. But all seriousness, guys, this is a representation, right? I wouldn't expect most patrol guys to be running a Mark V HD 3-18 on a patrol rifle. It's a representation of a home brew, and you don't have to go the route I did on this thing, but you definitely could if it's what you desire. The why behind this is because most off-the-shelf rifles just aren't going to have everything you want, maybe not everything you need, or the best parts or the most suitable parts for what you need. And while they can be changed, you can get some different furniture, you can get a better trigger, you can get a better rail, maybe a little bit better of a bolt, so it's going to be a little bit more durable and reliable. Sometimes you just have to change things, and if you build it yourself right, and that is the key, to build it right from the ground up, you can get every single part and piece that you want and need and that will fit you best without having to spend additional monies and time down the road changing small things out like a trigger, furniture, or even the rail or the BCG. But we are going to go through exactly what this rig is, right? So this is a homebrew that I actually built in conjunction with Brownells for SHOT Show 2025 on a like recce inspired kind of build. And since this one's a little bit more of a theory-based rifle, right? It's not per se a law enforcement rifle because it's like a Mark V 3-18, and that's a little crazy for patrol. I just want to go through the parts so you can get an idea of what we are working with here today. So from the back to the front here, we have a Magpul SLS stock, a K2 grip from Magpul, a Geissele Super 42 H1 buffer and spring in the rear with a Geissele enhanced buffer tube, a QDM plate, an ADM Ambi lower receiver, Sons of Liberty Gunworks upper, Sons of Liberty Gunworks bolt and carrier group, and Sons of Liberty Gunworks 14.5 heavy profiled SPR barrel, finished off out front with a Geissele Mark 16 rail. It has a Forward Control Designs chemo muzzle device for a suppressor, an ADM 154 mount for that loopholed Mark V 3-18, an Arasaka 45-degree offset mount for that Acro by Aimpoint, and this rifle can do literally everything a 5.56 is capable of, from CQB up close distances all the way to smack and steel out to 1,000 yards with the way this thing is rigged up. There's also a Geissele SSP trigger, an Aero Pro ambidextrous safety, and then out front I have the Rain 3.0 mini light with a Forward Control Design wire hider to keep everything neat and tidy. So the why. Why would you want to do the homebrew or the home build over an off-the-shelf rifle? Again, because an off-the-shelf rifle is likely never going to have everything you probably want or need. That could be anything from the trigger, the furniture, the rail. You might need QD points on this thing somewhere, and you might just want something that's a little bit more fitting to your body style, like the grip, something that doesn't have that crazy A2 arced angle on it. You might want something a little bit more straight up and down because it's far more comfortable. So that is the driving reason, along with the fact that if you put it together or have your armorer build it, you can pick and choose all of the best parts that matter: the bolt, the gas block, the carrier, the trigger, all of the moving parts in here. You can choose specifically on ones that you know are going to function reliably for longer periods of time and not going to fail you as long as you do the appropriate maintenance on things like your gas rings. Okay, so that is a case rupture. That case ruptured right in half, and half of it still stuck in the chamber. So we're gonna go back to the truck, work this out, and show you what happens. Okay, so this is a catastrophic ammunition failure. You see half a casing on the bolt lug right there. The rest of that casing is blown apart in half right there. And as the bolt was trying to feed the next round, you effectively have a double feed, case rupture, all kinds of nightmare going on. This is an ammunition failure. So we'll lock the bolt to the rear and we'll watch what comes out. Okay. That case just ripped in half. That's the back end. And then We'll start working this out because it's jammed. There's the new round that was trying to go in. And this is what's left of that other casing that blew apart in the chamber. So could have been a weak piece of brass. Definitely something going on. So we'll test fire the gun to make sure nothing happened to the barrel or the bolt after a little bit of an inspection and go back to work. That's the kind of failure that blows guns up. That rupture is the kind of thing that can damage your gun, blow the upper apart, stuff like that. So we're gonna check to make sure there's nothing in the bore. Yeah, barrel looks perfect. So we're just gonna go back to work. Some agencies may allow you to carry a fully home-built rifle as long as it passes inspection and qualification. Other agencies may require you to have a factory-built upper, and you can use whatever lower you want. The agency that I worked for, I carried my own personally built rifle for a very long time and never had an issue. Generally, if it passes inspections and you can pass quals with it, you should be able to carry it. More often than not, the only thing that your agency probably won't let you carry if it is your home build is if you have the third hole drilled in it or some form of auto sear system. Generally, if it's going to be a machine gun style setup or a fully auto setup, that's going to have to be an issued item that is controlled by your agency. Now, some of the reasons I say it's best to homebrew this and pick the best parts for the heart and lungs of this rifle is because a lot of off-the-shelf rifles come with poor internal components when it comes to the springs, gas rings, all those small parts like that that can cause catastrophic failures in there. Oftentimes, companies will cut corners depending on the brand. So if you are able to pick and choose those parts, you can get the best gas rings, you can get the best buffer tubes, you can get the best buffers, buffer springs, trigger springs, all of those small parts that are going to make a huge difference, not only in performance, but longevity. Another big one is going to be the barrel and the bolt and carrier group itself, because a lot of off-the-shelf rifles aren't using the best barrels with the best rifling, or maybe they're not chrome lined, so they're not that hardcore, hard use, last forever style of barrel. And the bolt and carrier groups, maybe they are in spec, maybe they're not high pressure tested, maybe they're only magnetic particle inspected, maybe they don't have S7 tool steel or that really good stuff that you want. They might be usable, they just might not last as long and be as reliable as one you might spend 20 to 30, maybe 50 bucks more on. And the biggest one for me when it comes to barrels is a lot of companies, and I mean a lot, some of even the bigger names out there overport their barrels for that gas port. And the reason they do that is they say it's going to be more reliable in an austere condition, when in reality, it's to push so much pressure and gas through that system that maybe poor fitting or poorly manufactured parts will actually run and keep that rifle running. And what that's going to do is cause undue wear and tear, early wear and tear, and also basically just eat the internal of your upper receiver alive. A lot of times in rifles that are over-gassed, you can look up in there and there's a little relief cut where the cam pin for the bolt is, and you can see how it's shearing the side of the interior wall on your upper receiver. That is a telltale sign that your rifle is likely over-gassed, maybe slightly out of time, and eventually that's going to cause problems. So the last thing I would leave you with there on the barrel gas porting is, that is not an asset. Over-porting that thing to run is not them enhancing reliability, it is a liability. It's going to destroy parts faster and likely cause failures in the bolt or any other small part that's having to endure that additional force that wasn't meant to by an over-ported barrel. So what do we stand to gain from a homebrew rifle that you've built, you've refied your house to build this expensive thing, and it's everything that you want? The biggest thing for me is you're likely going to have better overall manipulation due to the trigger, the grip angles, the stock, the way that rifle is set up specifically for you, and you train with it all the time. That is the key. It's yours, it's your run and gun, it's your go-to, and you know where every part is, whether it's light or dark, and you can run that thing no matter what the scenario is. You will likely get better accuracy because you can choose a better barrel, a better bolt, a better gassing system, and have that thing set up to give you the best in accuracy, because when you take a shot, every single projectile that leaves that muzzle counts, and you are responsible and have to answer for it. You're also likely going to get a longer lasting system. If your barrel's ported right and your gassing is done right, you're not going to have to put heavy buffers or heavy springs in the back. Your gas rings are going to last longer. Your bolt's going to last longer. Everything in there is going to be within spec. It's going to run great, and you're not going to have to replace things earlier than you would need to, or have parts, God forbid, blow out when you actually need them to function. And you're overall just going to have a better cycling and a softer cycling system, which is again going to help with follow-up shots, accuracy, all of those things that you look for in a custom built or more refined rifle package. You're likely also going to have more confidence and comfort in that system. It's got the furniture you want, the grip you want, the trigger you want, and you have that confidence in the reliability, durability, and the accuracy of that rifle, which obviously you're going to have to prove out on the range, and of course, in that annual armoring and inspection. Now, what do you stand to lose here, right? Well, you're gonna lose a little bit of that wallet size because it's all on you. You're gonna have to pay for this. You're likely gonna have to either put it together yourself and have it armored, and you're probably gonna have to pay for those things too, but I see that as a non-issue because I'm okay with doing that. Also, if you use it, you lose it for a little bit of time. But most agencies of any size and any reputation these days, if you use your service rifle or pistol, generally they're gonna do the ballistics and the photos and everything within the first day, almost immediately, within 72 hours or a week usually, and that rifle or pistol should be given back to you. I know I've dealt with that, and I've received my stuff back within about 3 to 4 days, maybe max a week. Now, is it worth the headache? I would say 100% yes. I always carried my own personal rifle for a couple of different reasons. I didn't want to have an issued basic B off-the-shelf rifle that I had at work, and then at home, I've got some crazy monster rigged up like this with everything I want. I know it. I train with my friends. I go to night vision classes. I go to rifle classes with my personal build, and then I go to work and I carry something completely different because I can't take the work rifle home with me, or it's just not the gun I like or something like that. So that juice was always worth the squeeze to me because I wanted a rifle that I could go to for everything, time and time again, that I knew like the back of my hand that I could run in any scenario, whether it was daylight, under night vision, and I wanted that rifle to be the same in every circumstance when I was out there running it. So if you have to carry one at work and you're training with one at home, that's just a bad thing. It's not going to help you in a chaotic scenario. So if you have that rifle that's your sweet honey, I would say carry it at work also if you are allowed to. And if you're not allowed to, you better be training with your duty rifle off-duty hours in those classes, or you better have a clone of that rifle that you have at home that you can run and gun with in those classes, so you are proficient with the one that matters when the time comes. And remember, the best duty rifle is the one that's reliable and that you train with, whether it's a homebrew or whether it's an off-the-shelf rifle. That has to be the one that you can perform with when the time comes. So whether it's an issued rifle or that custom rig, you've got to put the time in, because when that scenario comes, you will always default to your last highest level of training. So if your last highest level of training for the past 6 months has been with a 10.5 Mark 18, and you go and carry a slicked or a polymer railed 16-inch, GWAT year one monster out there on the street, you're probably not going to perform at your peak at that point. Well, let us know what you carry out there, and if your department authorizes you to carry your own rifle, and if they do and you're not, I really want to know why you're not carrying your specific rifle that you probably have at home out there on duty. Maybe you're afraid of losing it if you get in a scenario with it, but you're going to get it back. So I'm always curious to see that, because a lot of officers think and feel differently about carrying their personal firearms when they're on duty. Make sure you guys get subscribed to the channel. Check out ironinfidel.com for those hydro flasks, the battle bottles, the fitness gear, the EDC gear, and we'll see you guys on the range.